and he's going to house it.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Angle of Pursuit podcast, your sports betting and NASCAR home. I am your host, Kyle Robert. You follow me on Twitter at NotoriousKRO. With me is Brian Twining. As always, Brian_Twining on the Twitter machine. Brian, how the hell are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and it's actually quite surprising that you and I are recording this week with the gravity of the week at hand.
It's the week of the game. It gets very real around this time of the year. The fact that we're able to keep this podcast going year after year, despite the rivalry that is the game happening, it's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited to watch the game. Obviously, we have Thanksgiving Day slate of NFL and college and all Friday. I mean, it's honestly of the it's not March Madness. It's not opening weekend of college football, but my
it's
God,
pretty
4
incredible.
days, college basketball. We have the World Cup mixed in. Obviously basketball and hockey going. Like it's a good time to be a sports fan.
Yeah, and let me just say, by week's end, I am going to be absolutely exhausted because I've been forcing myself to get up around 2 a.m. every day out here in California so I could catch the first World Cup game, at least some of it, before I fall asleep eventually. But like you said, World Cup, it's amazing college basketball this week, feast week, all these college football rivalry games, as you were talking about. We're headed into week 12 of the NFL season. We got NFL on Thanksgiving. Like, this is an incredible week for sports.
Let's recap week 12 of the college football season and week 11 of our NFL season as our bets before we jump into the week that is coming up. As you can see, I'm absolutely crushing it still. It's just real rough out here in these streets. Maryland plus 27.5, never a doubt. Illinois plus 18.
Don't get me started.
Probably got a little lucky. Well, we'll talk about it when we shift over and talk about your bets, but Blake Corum getting hurt in that game definitely made that game pivot a little bit. And my favorite NFL bet of the weekend was quite possibly the easiest one I've had in some time, with your Dallas Cowboys going to Minnesota and just, putting the hammer down.
Absolute beat down.
Yeah, I mean, it was so bad that Fox is like, no, we'll change the game of the week to a different game and get something else on the national TV broadcast, because this is absurd. So it was a great week for me. Hit all three of my bets, just cleaned up. You, on the other hand, we can talk about it. Michigan was going in. They were going to be up 14-3 going into the half. It was pretty much done. Blake Corum gets hurt. The ball fumbles. Illinois gets the ball. And that game is never the same. That should have covered. That was the right side.
I mean, it was kind of sketchy there, just because, like, Michigan, again, red zone woes. Once they got in close, like, they could not capitalize. Definitely exposing JJ McCarthy in the passing game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one looked good. And then the Patriots, I don't know what on earth was happening.
That game was almost as bad, if not, actually, I think it was worse than the Cowboys Vikings game, because at least the Cowboys did stuff.
Yeah, exactly. At least there was excitement.
Zach Wilson was so bad that he got benched for Mike White. That's not what you're looking for. And then the Ravens, man, I'm kind of done with them. I don't think they're actually as good as we think they are.
Yeah.
They have interesting pieces. They can put it together at times. But this is a banged up team yet again, and they're making some interesting decisions. And
also now Lamar Jackson's dealing with a little bit of a hip issue. So, I mean, I don't know what to do with them. I still think they're a good team. They're going to win games, but they're probably more along the Vikings model of close games as opposed to actually covering spreads.
Yep. And then yet again this week they're going to be 3.5, 4-point favorites
Yep.
against Jacksonville. Everyone's going to line up to back them, and
I am avoiding.
not going to be us.
Yeah.
So I'm 24-12 on the season, up
Killing
30
it.
units. Absolutely
Whew.
crushing it. Feels good. Brian, not so much, but you're not getting slaughtered, so that's good. But yeah, let's jump into this week where we have some interesting games to get into. Obviously, our games are playing, but that's not where the money is made because we don't make money. Well, we'll see. But we got 3 college football bets. We got 3 NFL bets. Let's jump into it. Vanderbilt Commodores plus 14.5 versus the Tennessee Volunteers.
This is jacked up. That's all I gotta say. I know. I have a feeling where you're going with this.
Hendon Hooker, real tough scene. Really wish he could end his career at Tennessee in a much better way, but injury, done for the year. Hopefully he's ready for draft time, but with the ACL, it's going to be a little bit interesting. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, is 1 win away from making a bowl game, something they have not done probably since, I don't know, maybe like
Forever.
a decade. It's been a long time. This is a team that had a over-under win total of 2.5. They've already won 5. They won last week against Florida, and now they can get their 6th win of the season against a Tennessee team that lost their quarterback, lost their playoff chances, lost their SEC championship potential appearance, and is really just, coasting in on fumes at this point. So much of what they thought they could be this year is behind them, and no longer within the realm of possibility. I wouldn't be shocked if this team doesn't really show up on Saturday and, kind of sleepwalks through the game. And, Hendon Hooker was so important to this offense and really making it go. And the backup is just, he ain't it. So Doors plus 14.5. If you can get 14, you can't get 14.5. That's fine. And honestly, sprinkle that money line, baby. That's plus 380, plus 390, maybe 4-1. It's worth a little sprinkle. Because I think the Doors can win this. I think they can cover the number, and I think 6 wins in a bowl game is within Vanderbilt's potential range of outcomes, which is something that going into the season seemed ridiculous. So Vandy plus 14.5 is my first play. We'll flip over to the Wolverines as Brian wants the team total over 23.5 for Michigan. Talk to me about this one, Brian.
Yeah, I quite honestly don't understand why the team total is set so low. I know last week they kind of looked out of sorts, especially after Corum got injured, but that was against the nation's number 3 defense. Ohio State's defense is nowhere near as good as Illinois. Michigan's 2 lowest production games this year are against at Iowa and at home against Illinois. So I don't take anything from that. Every other game other than that, I think was 27 or more points, with the majority of those going over 40. Ohio State wants to play fast. They're going to want to put the ball in the air. Michigan has kind of been susceptible in this game in particular to the passing game. So I think that they're able to put some points on the board here. And Michigan knows that they're going to have to score regardless if they're running the ball or not. They're going to have to put points on the board. I think this is a game where they're actually going for it on 4th down more often than not. And then even if this is a blowout, Ohio State's a 7.5 point favorite. I think that Michigan maybe sneaks in the back door late as, some of Ohio State's backups possibly on defense are in there. But yeah, I think this is set too low. I'm also on the Michigan first half team total over 11.5. I think that's ridiculous. But, yeah, there's a few spots I'm in on this game, but I think Michigan's putting up 24 or more.
Yeah, I think this is a play, obviously, on the weather. There's some concerns about what it may look like. Jim Knowles has the Ohio State defense clicking at a much better gear this year, and I think they are a very, very different team than we saw last year. But yeah, I think there's a world where even if it's a blowout, 42 to 24 is a very reasonable score, and that gets you there.
Exactly. We've seen it in years past where Ohio State's like, "F you guys, we're going to try to put up 60," and Michigan is going to score just because of the sheer volume that Ohio State puts up. That just means more possessions for Michigan to possibly put up points. So
yeah, and you really, honestly, if you get a little turnover luck, maybe a flip in the red zone, or a pick six, a fumble six.
And Michigan's special teams has been pretty good this year. AJ Henning should be back this week. He's pretty dynamic as a punt returner, and I think that there's going to be a good shot that we see maybe a kickoff return, punt return, defensive touchdown, something of that nature from either side.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. My last college football play, and the last one we have for the show: Iowa State Cyclones plus the 10 versus TCU. TCU is a great story this year. They are they're in the Big 12 championship. They went out there in the playoff. It's a very exciting year for them. Obviously Gary Patterson got that team to a certain point, but they never really climbed above that. And now they're in a much better spot, and Max Duggan looks great. And as much as TCU has looked awesome all year long, they've had their moments. They've been competitive, but let teams hang around a little bit. It took a wild card field goal, as time expired, to get out of town against Baylor with the win. TCU just needs to win and move on. They don't need style points at this point. They want to be healthy for Kansas State in the Big 12 championship. And Matt Campbell as a dog at home is what he was born and bred to do. That Iowa State team isn't as good as we usually see, but I think they'll be competitive. I think this will be around a touchdown, and I think the Cyclones can cover. So take that plus 10 and lock that in. Let's shift our focus. Let's talk NFL. We got 3 picks for you, Brian. Back to the first half plays with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, this is too easy for me. Houston's making a quarterback change. I doubt that they're going to be able to improve the offense in the level that they think they're going to be able to here. Miami's coming off of a bye week, so their guys are going to be well rested. Tua and those wide receivers are cooking on all cylinders. Houston's pass defense is going to be minus standout rookie Derek Stingley Jr. this week, it looks like. So I don't think there's a world where Miami's not rolling them, 21 to 24 to 10 or so by the half.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. And obviously their run defense is putrid, so Jeff Wilson or Raheem Mostert could run up and down the field on them and cover that number with ease. I mean, worst case scenario, it's probably 13-3 or something weird. And, Kyle Allen is the quarterback. He could throw a pick 6 easy. There's a lot of ways where this works out. So, and I like taking the early line because this could get, they could get in the second half being like, this game's over. Let's just kind of sit on a little bit. And maybe they can still cover the number.
Yeah, especially too, because we have the 3 Thanksgiving games. It's almost like the sharps are mainly focused on those right now. And then after we get done with those, you're going to see probably some line movement come Friday or Saturday on these games on Sunday.
So excited. My betting card is getting chock full, and it's, Wednesday. So my first and only NFL play, I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers versus Denver Broncos under 36.5. The Broncos can't score 18 points. The Panthers have Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback against a good Broncos defense. I don't know how this game could be like, 7-9, and then that's it. Like, I don't know how many points. There's Donta Foreman's banged up a little bit. Yep. I know the Panthers defense hasn't been great, but the Broncos offense is broken, and like they've had opportunities, and even last week against the Raiders, like they should have won
16 points.
Yeah. If they scored 18 points in regulation, they would be like 10-1 right now. But their offense can't score points. And we've seen what Carolina is, especially with Sam Darnold, probably Chuba Hubbard. It just screams to me like take the under. So I'm just going to take it, wait for 13-3 to be the final score, and be happy with my cash.
I will say too, the Panthers are also a sneakily good or like pesky defense as well. So it's not like they're going in there and they're playing some crappy defense either.
Yeah. And if you want to get real frisky, just take the Panthers money line and watch the Broncos collapse, because the Broncos are one of the worst, 3 or 4 worst teams, even after the Russell Wilson trade, which is crazy.
Easy. Yeah.
Your third and final bet, you're taking the Chargers money line at the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, Chargers showed it on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. Like, they are every bit as good as we thought they were going to be early on in the season when healthy, and it seems like they're getting there. Gerald Everett returned to limited practice today. Mike Williams seems to be okay, even though he retweaked his ankle on Sunday Night Football. Who knows what we get out of him, but Keenan Allen looked great. Austin Eckler is just ridiculously good. Justin Herbert, he looks fantastic now that he's got some more weapons around him. The Chargers defense, it's a little banged up, but they still got Derwin James, and the Cardinals are dealing with a ton of injuries. They just got absolutely steamrolled on Monday Night Football. It wouldn't have made a difference that Kyler was playing or not against San Francisco. He's going to return this week, but still without a fully healthy Hollywood Brown. It's literally D-Hop or nothing for this offense right now, and I don't think they're going to be able to do much against this Chargers team that's kind of picking up steam, even though they're not getting the wins.
Yeah, and I like taking the Chargers money line because this does feel like a spot where it's a little more competitive than you think, and like
I would prefer this at 2.5.
Fourth quarter. Yeah, they find a way to win it in the fourth quarter. They're like magically down in the first. Oh, the Cardinals, Kyle Allen or Colt McCoy has scored 3 touchdowns, and it's 17-7. Or whatever. Like I can see that happening, and then the Chargers, like, they play down to these garbage teams. True. And then they find a way to sneak it out. So going money line is probably the move. The 3 is fine. 3.5, that would be a little.
Yeah, no, I'm not touching that.
Let's recap the card. Let's give our people the bets. Let's give our people the units per bet, and let's get out of here so we can enjoy that holiday weekend. I am taking Vanderbilt plus 14.5 versus Tennessee, putting 3 units on that. I'm taking Iowa State plus 10 at versus TCU, putting 3 units on that. And the Carolina Panthers versus Denver Broncos under 36.5 at PointsBet, 36 pretty much everywhere else. I am taking 4 units for that. Brian, break down your card, give them the units, and let's get out of here.
Well, and for being normally a downer type of fan where I bet against my team here, I feel pretty confident in Michigan this week. I got
Ohio
the team total.
Unload your account. Ohio State minus whatever.
I got the Michigan team total over 23.5 here at FanDuel at minus 113. I feel like the juice is good here. I think they're going to get to this number and it's going to be easy. I'm going to do a 4-unit play on that. I got the Dolphins first half minus 7 over the Texans. This is just ridiculous to me. I think Miami absolutely destroys them. I'm going to go 4 units on that as well. And then I got the Chargers money line versus the Cardinals at minus 156 over at FanDuel, and I'm going to just do 2 units on that play.
Those are our bets. Appreciate everyone who is checking out the show. Let us know your favorite bets for either Saturday or Sunday's action.
And who's going to win the game.
There's one answer and one answer only. You guys get your one win once every 10 years or so. Ohio State rolls. Ohio State goes to the playoff, and I'm ready to hoist that natty because this team is different.
Okay. There will definitely be a side wager for that.
I can't wait. There's literally nothing would make me happier than being able to wager on that. That is all we have for this week. That is Brian Swining. I am Kyle Robert. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next week.